Some of our official sponsored athletes, and they're going to be answering some questions that I have that will hopefully give you guys a better idea of their stories and their Asea experiences. So let's start out. I want everyone to tell us your name, your sport, and how long you've been taking Asea Redox. So let's pass the mic down, one mic down to, let's do every other person. And then pass it. Absolutely.
Hi, my name is Cody Miller. I'm a swimmer for the United States national team. I've been taking Asea for 5 years now. I have 16 major international medals, 2 of which are Olympic medals, 1 bronze, 1 gold, and I'm just really happy to be here. These guys are awesome.
Sean Burke, I've been taking this year for almost 6 years. Started when I was 51, I'm 57 now. I've actually won more races since being on Asea than I did in my 25 years before being on Asea.
Wow.
I'm Dexter Yates. I'm 72 years old. I started taking Asea in 2015, and since I have been on Asea, I have qualified for 4 world championships.
Hi, I'm Breanne Larsen. I'm another swimmer on Team USA. I started taking Asea in 2009, my senior year of high school, and I took it all throughout college, and I still do, so it's been about 8 years or so, and it's great. I love it. Yay. We got a gold medal in 2012 in the Olympics.
Congratulations. Oh, and oh, by the way,
She's humble.
Hi, I'm Christiane Arbini, and I'm an Ironman triathlete. I've completed 2 of them in 2010 and 2014. I took the product starting in 2014, which allowed me to get a 4-hour faster time compared to my 2010, and love the product.
yay.
Hi, I'm Kathy Waite. I'm 43 years old, and I race off-road triathlon, which is commonly known as Xterra Triathlon, and cross-country mountain bike races. I've been on the product since 2012, I believe, and I'm getting faster and faster every year versus what should happen. So I'm pretty happy to have the product in my toolkit.
Hi, my name is Cody Waite, Kathy's husband. I've been on the product since 2009, a pretty long time, pretty cool. Like, what is that, 9 years, I think? 8 years. I race professional off-road triathlon, also known as Xterra. Represented the U.S. in the World Championships for about the last 9 years. So really loving racing and the benefits that we get from using the product and keeping at it even as we get older in life, which is great.
So as you guys probably noticed, we have a range of ages. We have people who have been racing and competing since they were very young. We have people who started off a little later in life. So they're a wide demographic here. They represent everyone. So we're going to ask the question that I know you have answered 100 times this weekend, but how frequently are you using Asea Redox, and how much do you take? And this is for all the panelists.
I take it 2 to 3 times a day, usually right in the morning when I wake up and then right before I go to bed. I try to take it when my stomach is as empty as possible, which is tough when, as a swimmer, we eat a lot. But it's 8 ounces in the morning and 8 ounces at night, and sometimes 4 ounces in the middle of the day as well.
So I take it 4 ounces in the morning, 4 ounces at noon, 4 ounces in the evening, and then if my workout is more than a couple hours long, then I'll take another 4 ounces. And if I'm racing an Ironman race, then I'm taking it every 2 hours during the race.
I start every morning with 4 ounces. I have the 8-ounce pouches, and I take one of those between workouts. If I'm doing 3 workouts a day, I might drink as much as 20 ounces in one day.
First, I just want to say I think Dexter's really cool. Really look up to her. I'm kind of like Cody. It's better on an empty stomach, I think. So I take 8 ounces in the morning, 8 ounces at night, and then when I remember, I try and take 8 ounces before one of my practices. So yeah, just about the same as Dexter too, because I think she's really cool.
We're all pretty similar, I think, in what we take, but I take 4 ounces 3 times a day during pretty much all year round. When I'm racing, I'll increase my dose, and I'll start taking, I can take up to a full pouch actually pre-race, and sometimes I'll have a pouch between when I do transitions. I'll quickly take a shot of it, or if I'm doing a longer race, I'll carry it with me, and then I make sure that I get it after the race because it's actually the most critical, so I can start recovering.
Nice.
I'll speak for Kathy and myself. We, much like the rest, also do 4 ounces morning and night. I'll also copy the taking it on the empty stomach, particularly in the morning. I think that's like first thing when you wake up, get it down. I feel like it just like it's absorbed that much more quickly. And then in addition to the morning and evening doses, kind of surrounding training sessions, particularly if you're going to train, more than once during the day. So if you have a morning session, taking it after that to help kind of that recovery through the mid part of the day, and then if you're going to have an afternoon session, taking it before that session starts, I feel really gives you that extra bit of boost and helps you recover.
And I forgot to do, this year I actually did what I call megadose. So when I was a week before a race, I actually started taking dosage every 4 hours through the day, just so it was like a bigger race coming on so that I could get that lactic acid out of my system. And that really helped me get to another level this year. So that was something I did different.
Awesome, thank you all. This question's for Bria. What benefits do you feel when you're taking Asea Redox?
So I think it helps control my lactic acid, and one, it's very hydrating because drinking water. But I really like it. I think it helps me sleep a lot better. I think during big competitions, the anxiety levels kind of skyrocket, and you just, there's a lot of angst, and it's kind of hard to relax and fall asleep. But when I have Asea, it does help me sleep more. It helps me sleep more soundly. Also, I used to have really bad night terrors just from being anxious. I know, feel bad for me. But with Asea, so a lot of times it's not something that I notice right away. They kind of gradually increase or decrease, whatever, good or bad. But when I stop taking it, that's when I notice. It's like just a sharp drop. I'm like, uh-oh, I got to get back on Asea really quick. But I think it helps overall recovery. Recovery is very important, I think, for everyday life. Like, don't tell me none of you guys get sore throughout the day. You like whether you're standing a lot or whatnot, and you go to bed and your head hits the pillow and you just finally get to relax. You guys work hard no matter what you're doing, and I think Asea is a very good recovery product, a life product. My little sister takes it, I take it, my grandma takes it. It's for all ages, and it's really great recovery.
So that actually goes along with our next question, which I think Kathy can chime in on. Is Asea Redox just for athletes?
Aww.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off of what Bria said. You have to ask yourself the question, do you want to feel good? Do you want to look good? Do you want to have energy? I don't think anyone would say no to any of those questions. We all have life stressors, if they're emotional or physical or environmental. That's a huge problem nowadays. So to have Asea as like a magic potion, I'm sure we're not allowed to really say that, but to help your cells communicate better and to feel better is really important for every person, not just an athlete.
And I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but I feel like science is almost better than magic because you can prove it. And as we learned this weekend, there is science behind our product, even more so than we thought before. So let's do this next question. Let's see. Bria, maybe you can explain this because I know you're approached so frequently with product offers, but if an associate knows an athlete and wants to get them on Asea Redox, what would you recommend as the main selling points?
The ingredient list. Oh my gosh, you guys, I cannot tell you how many times and it's all in good nature, but people try and push products on you, and I'll get a protein powder or whatnot, and I'll look at the ingredients, and I can't pronounce any of the ingredients. I don't know what they are. I don't know what it all means. And there's 40 or 50 on the list, and I don't know what I'm putting into my body. And as athletes, we're drug tested, like simple example, like me and Cody are not allowed to take Claritin D. It's on the banned substance list. So just to show how simple a drug can be and still be banned. When I look at the Asea label, does anyone know how many ingredients there are?
4. 2.
Two ingredients. You can look them up both. Sorry, look them both up. Sodium and chloride. I love it. We're drug tested all the time. I think it's safe to say I've been drug tested over maybe 200 times, like a lot. That's a lot of drug testing. I'm never scared to put down on the declaration form, what have you taken the last 48 hours? Ibuprofen, vitamin C, and Asea. Like, I'm never scared to put that down. It's a very safe product. It's very clean. The company or the factory where it's made only makes Asea. There's no traces of anything else because they don't make anything else. It's a safe product, and that is so huge as an athlete because that's the scariest thing is you put so much work and effort and sweat, tears, blood into your sport just to have something as silly, as a piece of chocolate cake and test positive, which has happened, or heaven forbid, a poppy seed muffin. But Asea is a clean product, 2 ingredients. You are not going to test positive for anything else because there's nothing else in it, and that is a huge deal. It's incomparable to any other product because it is so clean and so pure, and it works.
So as we learned this weekend, all these athletes can contest to this. And I said this before, the 4 things we found out that the genes turned on was inflammation. We all want to keep our inflammation down. Digestive system, we have to be able to get nutrition into our system, correct? We have to have better cardio, right? And then we have to have immune system. So anti-inflammatory is immune system. So we work out all the time, so our immune system is depleted. And so heaven forbid that one of our Olympic athletes had a virus or a sickness before they won the gold medal, right? So you can see where those 4 components are a major part of our athletic competition.
Thank you for that, Sean. And so, Sean, let's continue with you. When someone asks you what Asea Redox is, what do you tell them?
What I just said.
So let's say if someone's like, in 2 words, what is Asea Redox? What does it do?
It's a athletic supplement that is native to your body that will increase your performance.
Way more than 2 words, but I still like it.
Recovery.
There you go. Dexter's word is recovery. And I think that probably is the same for most of the panelists up here, right? All right. Let's move on to Breanne and Cody. Cody Miller.
Okay.
What is it like winning a gold medal?
You want to take it first?
Go for it.
You go first.
Cody, they
All right,
really want to
okay.
hear you.
It's fairly it's fairly indescribable. When I won gold in Rio, it was a part of the 4x100 medley relay, and there were a few emotions going on. Number one, it was my idol Michael Phelps's last relay, and at the time we're teammates now and I know the guy, but the first time I'd ever met him, I was 15 years old. I was leaving a swim meet. And I was flying home, and he flagged me down in the airport because he saw me as a swimmer, and he upgraded my ticket to sit first class with him. Yeah, classy guy.
Nice.
And honestly, I'm up here now as an Olympian, but back then I was just a 15-year-old little teenager. I had a poster guy on my wall. I worshiped the guy. It was the coolest thing that ever happened to me, honestly. And that's a 5-hour plane ride home. And I sat and I picked his brain. I asked him all these questions, how are you so good? What are you doing? He said a few things that stuck with me. Number one, he said, I outwork everyone. He said, and honestly and humbly, I knew that in order to do what I want to do, I had to do things in training that other people were not willing to do so that in the future he could do things that other people couldn't. And you had to take risks and you had to take chances. And so that was really cool and humbling and honoring being on his final career-ending relay. And then, a decade later, literally a decade later. And then also, I cannot take all the credit for winning, being a part of that relay. There were a lot of people that helped me get there. A lot of people. I did not get there on my own. I had parents, I had coaches, I had teachers, I had family. And so, when I was celebrating after winning my first medal, really, really hard for getting third, it was because, I felt like I finally honored everyone who'd helped me along the way. It's hard to describe, but it's pretty awesome. I think Bria can attest to that.
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful explanation of it's competing well is one of the best ways to thank your coaches and your parents and everyone else who helped invest in your career. And I just remember, I just have this image of like a little 8-year-old like sitting on the ground with his knees bouncing up and down, cheering on the swimmers on TV. And I just felt so cool that I could represent that little kid. Because one of the best things about being on a relay is it's not about you. It's about, Team USA, about your family, about your state, about your country, about your college. It's about everything, and you get to represent the figure that everyone is cheering for and that everyone is aspired and growing up to be, because we were on the opposite side of the fence once before, definitely, like looking up there and really wanting to be that swimmer that is up there racing their heart out for their country. And then when you finally get to be that person, I'm getting like goosebumps.
It's indescribable.
Yeah, it's
gonna make me cry.
It's like the most it's like the most patriotic thing. Like, this is like a cheesy example, but don't tell anyone. But I used to think it was really tacky to wear the American flag. And now, I see it on a toothbrush or socks. I'm like, I must have it. I love wearing the American flag. I'm very proud to be an American. And being able to represent one of the best countries in the world. I love all the countries, for all of our foreign travelers here. But, being able to represent your country and, just putting your hand on your heart when they raise the flag and you're singing your national anthem, and like, that's our fight song. That's our fight song. And it's an amazing feeling.
Yeah, it is kind of like a little goosebumpy in here, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, let's give this one to Dexter. Do you feel like Asea Redox has taken your career to the next level?
Oh boy, has it. I actually got on Asea when I was unsuccessful in finishing an Ironman race, and I'm not sure everybody knows what an Ironman race is, but it's 2.4 mile swim, a 112 mile bike ride, and a 26.2 mile run. I'm not fast, I've never been fast, but I have endurance, and to finish that length of a race usually takes me over 16 hours. And that's 16 hours of somebody saying go, and you keep going for 16 hours. There's no coffee breaks, there's no lunch breaks, you go. And getting on Asea about a little over a month after I started on the product, I was not only able to finish, but I won my age group and I qualified for the World Championship in Kona, Hawaii. And it was just life-changing. My training went so much better in going to the World Championship in Hawaii. I felt so much stronger and confident on being on the product, and I've been on it for a little over 2 years now, and I feel like my recovery is just getting better and better and better. It's amazing to me. It's almost scary as to how good it could get.
And this is one of my favorite stories, real quick. Sorry, Breanne. But tell us about your post-race before Asea and your post-race with Asea.
Okay, my post-race with Asea, after finishing the race, I was really finished. Finished to the point that I was not even sure I would be able to walk to the car. And at the finish line at Ironman races, they have a place they call the medical tent, and that's where the casualties go. And I would cross the finish line and go in there, and the doctors would take your blood pressure and your temperature and just kind of watch over you and see if you needed fluids or any medical care. And it was kind of a coddling place to go. So I always felt I needed to do that. I was not sure that I was able to be responsible for any of my actions and take care of myself. So when I finished my daughter came with me to Kona, And after the finish line, she knew, go get Mom out of the medical tent and, take care of her, take her home. And when I finished the World Championship that year in Kona, she came looking for me in the medical tent, and when I wasn't there, it kind of scared her. She didn't know where Mom was and went looking for me and found me munching away on a sandwich. I just felt great. I just wanted to eat, and I wanted to eat right now. I didn't need any medical tent.
Wow. Awesome.
And that's why, as you can probably imagine, her word for Asea is recovery. So, okay, Bria, go ahead with what you were gonna say.
I had a question for Dexter. So if I'm correct, with the Ironman, it's the same time standard for all ages, correct?
Yes.
So you have the same time standard as 24-year-olds, and some of the 24-year-olds don't make it? Some of them don't make it, but you make it? She's awesome.
She is super impressive.
Can I say one more quick? So, it's kind of a Dexter moment here, but at our facility, she'll come in and at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and people are looking at Dexter, and Dexter comes in and goes, "Yeah, I just got done. I went biking for 100 miles, and I'm going to come work out, and then after that, I'm going to go swim again." And so, anybody comes in my gym, I say, "There's no excuses."
Exactly. All right, Cody, wait, I'm going to direct this one to you. How does staying healthy and active improve everyday life, even for people who aren't professional athletes?
Great question. I guess I'd go back to my sort of motto, I guess, in the last couple of years as I've gotten older. I just turned 39 a few days ago. So old. But
It's all over now.
I think it really comes down to like use it or lose it kind of thing. You got to be thinking about, you've got to be moving, you've got to be active, you've got to be, as healthy as you possibly can be, or it just starts to decline. I mean, we see it with friends and family that are similar age that, they haven't been as active as they were maybe when they were in high school or in their 20s and or eating well, and now you see them and you're like, wow, really? Like, that's unfortunate. So I really think that it's essential to stay active, stay healthy, eat the best possible foods you can get your hands on, take Asea, and you'll be able to live longer, live more healthfully, be much more active like Dexter, into your older years, and feel good and look good too. So I mean, all of those things are, like Kathy said earlier, things that I think we all strive for. So I think it's essential to be healthy and active, and makes the quality of life tons better.
Awesome, thank you for that. Let's go over to Christiane. So, Christiane has not had an easy past few years, but I just want to say your summer has been phenomenal. How many medals have you gotten this summer?
Trying to think, how many races did I do?
6.
6. 6 races and 6 top finishes.
Wow.
And what were you doing at the end of last year?
In October, I had my second hip surgery.
Wow.
Is what I was doing.
Okay, so she has overcome a tremendous amount of physical and mental pain to be where she is right now. So tell us a little bit about overcoming obstacles.
Okay. To give you a little bit backstory on the overcoming, it happened back in 2015. I had a ski accident, and I ended up rupturing my ACL, which was going to be the start of an amazing new season, I hoped, because 2014 was awesome when I took 4 hours off my Ironman time. I dominated my age group that entire year, and was going to go into 2015 and be able to hopefully hit another Ironman. And the 2014 I raced, I was in the top 20 of my age division, which my age group is really big, and I was pretty proud of that. So going into 2015, I had basically started off with the injury, which required surgery, and in that same week, they also discovered the long-term issue I had with my hip required surgery. It was a labrum tear. I don't have any artificial parts, which is great, but my entire season was basically gone before it started, and I spent the entire year rehabbing and coming back into that. And I want to say, when you are going from a place where you're doing really well, and you know, the triathlon is my passion, it's my sport, and when you're being able to perform at a pretty top level and then to have all of it just gone, that is really, really deflating. And the hardest part to all of that is the mental. The physical part was difficult, but I'd already pushed through a lot of pain doing Ironmans, and you're kind of used to the pain. So that part wasn't the hard part for me. It's definitely the mindset and getting through laying on your couch for 2 weeks and then being stuck on crutches and going through therapy, having time where you can't hardly bend your knee, and just like, are you ever going to be able to get back to the sport that you love? And just simple things in life. I wanted to be able to just go for a jog with my husband and my dog, and I couldn't. I mean, I was in pain. And so those kinds of things, to be able to overcome that, just became more of it's a heart strength, it's a mental strength for you to be able to dig down. And if it's that thing that you are really passionate about, no matter what, like, set your sights. It doesn't even have to be triathlon. It can be whatever, business, whatever it is. If that's something like you really want, you want that freedom, you want that lifestyle, then you have to put everything you have into it, and it has to be just your passion, and keep going for it. And you're going to get knocked down, you're going to have bad days, and it has to be okay, work through them, but you got to get up the next day and you just got to keep trying again. So for me, it's just been about overcoming the odds, and I came back this year and I overcame the odds. I just dominated again. So,
like, seriously, every week I'd come into the office Monday morning and I'd have an email, and it was like, Christiane Arbini took first place in this race. And I was like, oh, cool. Next week, Christiane Arbini took first place. And I was like, wow, she's on fire. All right, so let's talk a little bit about kind of Sean and your career with racing. I know 50 for some people is like, all right, it's all downhill from here, but that hasn't been your story. Were you ever faced with a similar situation to Christiane where you're like, this is it, I'm not going to be able to be what I was?
So when I first got on the product, it was in 2012. I was getting ready to do my 18th Ironman, and to do an Ironman race like Dexter, and I don't know, have you done Ironman? No, this one.
Me?
Yeah. I think she did, yeah. I went on my swim team.
Here's the thing. Okay. Here's the thing. I'm so inspired by Dexter, and I think it'd be the coolest thing in the world to do one with her, but my coach said not yet. So when I'm officially retired from swimming as a professional sport, I think I'll swim forever. I'm totally joining Dexter, and we're going to go do an Ironman. Yeah.
So
No, really.
at that time, I was getting ready to do my 18th Ironman, and to train, you need to train 20 to 25 hours a week. All of a sudden, my training started plummeting, and I was, sore all the time. I was not sleeping, and so that training of 20 hours a week went down to 5 hours a week. And also, the other thing is, I did combat in Panama, Paul, brother. And so coming back from the war, there was post-traumatic syndrome going on. So what was going on with that is that exercising was important to me. That's how I was overcoming those demons that we have to bring back with us. And so my life was just spinning out of control. I was in that black hole, and I was like, I have no idea what I was going to do. My wife was ready to, like, you're out the door, because I couldn't exercise to get over that. So I actually I heard about Redox molecules, started reading the research on it, and about 3 weeks of doing research on it, then I said, I'm going to try it. I have everything gained, nothing to lose. Got on the product, and I did not get results like a week later. It was like 3 weeks, and all of a sudden I started sleeping better, started feeling better, my mind clarity was better, and I came back from 5 hours of training a week back up to the 20 hours a week, and then went and did my 18th Ironman, and I had confidence. But you have to remember, 8 weeks before that, I didn't even know what I was going to do. 22 veterans make suicide a day. I was one of those, because I was like, I'm done. But anyway, I got through that and did my, sorry about that, I got back, my 18th Ironman took 57 minutes off, and I was like, I'm back. And I went and raced that year, did 9 more races, set 9 personal records. And again, I'm not saying this to be cocky, because none of us are trying to be cocky, but I'm telling you this product works. I've been on it, and I have raced 40 times on this product since being on the product, and I've won 38 races out of those.
Wow.
So it works.
Yay, Sean.
I really appreciate you sharing your story. I think it's motivational for a lot of people who are just, they feel like they don't have potential, like at the age they're at or at the place in their life, and you're a testimony to that, surely. All right, so Dexter, tell us your motto.
My motto is, don't let what you can't do keep you from what you can do.
Nice.
Simple to the point.
And then for all of the panelists, what do you hope to accomplish in the next year with regards to your athletic careers?
Start with me. So for me right now, I'm still training, and the next major meet we have coming up is U.S. Nationals next summer, so it's a little ways away, but that's a qualification meet for us. It's a big deal because they qualify the Pan Pacific Championships, which is the biggest swimming championship in the world in the year of 2018, and we also qualify for World Championships in 2019 that summer. So next summer is a really big summer for swimming, and so for me, everyone keeps, it's crazy. You get back from the Olympics and everyone's like, hey, like, great job. How about the next one?
Wow.
I'm like, what are you doing in 4 years? Like, it's a long ways away. So I kind of have the motto of just, one season at a time, 1 year at a time. And I would love to swim in Tokyo in the next Olympics, but, as long as I love it and enjoy it, then I'll keep doing it. And it ends like, I'm keep doing well. But yeah, for me, it's right now, I'm building up that base for next summer. So that's about it.
Awesome.
I'm going to be 60 in 2 years, so I can't wait to get a new age group and set new records there.
He's coming.
And I just want to keep, like this year I qualified for nationals in both sprint and Olympic distance. I want to keep doing that. And Dexter has put a challenge out to me. She's qualified for Africa in the half world championships. So awesome. And so she said, she kind of like, are you going to come or you're not going to come? So I got to qualify for the World Championships in South Africa so that I can race with Dexter.
Aww.
I love that.
So yes, I have already qualified for the South Africa World Championship, and I hope to qualify for the half Ironman, and I also hope to qualify for the full Ironman World Championship in 2018. My immediate goals here that I'm looking forward to is in 2 weeks I'll be racing in the World Championship in Kona, Hawaii for the Ironman World Championship. So I'm excited about that.
So everybody be watching for it. It'll be on TV.
We will.
Seriously, and she needs all the good vibes, huh?
Same with Cody. So really, like this, every year there's an international competition. So it goes Olympics, World Championships, Pan Pacific Games, World Championships, and then back to the Olympics. So this year though is huge because it's counting for 2 years. And so, if you want a paycheck for 2 years or you want to be able to travel the world, this summer is a big one. It's the big kahuna. So training for that for sure. But also, there's a lot of really fun international meets, like the World Cup events. It goes 9 countries in 3 months. We've both done a couple of those. It's been a lot of fun. And then there's the Arena Pro Swim Series, which is around the U.S. And there's actually one in my backyard in Mesa in Arizona. So that's always a really fun one. But so just the local national competitions and then the international competitions for sure.
So for mine, it's kind of similar to Sean's actually. I also qualified for the USAT Nationals. I didn't end up going because of the timeline, but hopefully maybe I can qualify again next year. I'd love to experience it. I heard it's quite amazing. It'd be cool to get the USA kit and wear that. And for me, my goals of next year is I'm rebuilding my base right now, as it's been really kind of taken away from me. So it's a lot of work to have to build back up to a full Ironman distance. I got a half in earlier this year, and wasn't quite the performance I was hoping for, but I'll keep training through this year, and then as of next year, my goal is to I've been challenged by Sean to jump on the bandwagon with the going to Africa Worlds as well.
Wow.
But we'll see. I'm trying to actually put my sights on trying to tackle one more full before I have to discuss a family.
So this season, Cody and I raced from April through the end of August, and I'll let you speak. We were going to do a mixture of Xterra triathlons and mountain bike racing. We went to Alabama in May and had a really great experience racing a popular Xterra triathlon there. And we both did pretty well. And then we moved on to some amazing mountain bike races. Our highlight of the summer was winning a co-ed relay on the 4th of July in Breckenridge, Colorado. There's a 50-mile race, and each teammate does a 25-mile loop. It was a pretty big deal we won. We were very excited about that. And we ended up focusing more on mountain bike racing towards the end of the season because life got a little bit stressful with a move and some family things. And it's much easier to focus on one sport than three, as you know. So looking ahead from now until next year, this is also our off-season build time. And I look forward to it. I love to lift weights and do CrossFit workouts, and we ride with our kids. We have 14-year-old twin daughters that are on the mountain bike team at the high school, and Cody and I are lucky enough to be the coaches. And so we get to do a lot of fun riding right now before the weather turns sour. And then we move into more indoor biking. And then looking forward to next year, we have some lofty goals, one of which is to do a 6-day stage mountain bike race in Breckenridge, which I've never done a stage race, which means you race every day for 6 days. That seems quite daunting at this moment looking forward, but I'll do a lot of good training over the winter and feel more prepared by next summer to do that. And one thing that's different about the mountain bike racing that I do and that Cody does is that it's actually not split into age groups unless you do a certain circuit. So the local races in Colorado, I'm racing at 16-year-olds. I look at them on the line and go, oh my gosh, I could be your mother. I have a 16-year-old, and I don't want you to beat me. And I also race against women that are older than me and in their 30s and 20s, and it's really kind of fun to be in this hodgepodge age group where you're just going for it. It's winner takes all. And so I feel quite motivated to not let these little whippersnappers get me yet. So that's kind of looking forward to next year. We're excited.
Yeah, and I'll kind of follow up with that. Also, I'll be focusing a little bit more next year on endurance mountain bike racing. So we're talking 50 to 100 plus mile mountain bike races. And early in the season, I'll be looking at the national championships and then hopefully the world championships kind of through the first part of the summer. And then towards the end of the summer is a race called the Leadville 100, which I've done before in the past a couple of years ago, and to be able to tackle that again, it's kind of an iconic race for the endurance mountain bike crowd where you ride 100 miles through the high mountains in Colorado, and kind of got a goal there to hit the podium overall, and maybe I'll be race age 40 then, so maybe try setting the 40-year-old course record at that one. I think I got a pretty good shot at it. So do that and get like a top 5 podium overall would be great. And then together we're going to do, like Kathy said, this 6-day stage race in Breckenridge, Colorado, which actually it starts the day after the 100-mile mountain bike race in Leadville. So it'll be 7 days in a row for me, but we'll do that. So it'll be really cool because it'll be a great test for Asea, if not ourselves, and see how how well we can recover day to day, because 6 or 7 days in a row of 50 plus mile mountain bike races, so you definitely got to be recovered. So that'll be a great test for everything. So that's the plan.
You guys have some great goals for sure.
Do you want me to address on how to approach athletes?
Sure, yeah. I mean, we'd love to hear any advice you have on associates who want to approach athletes.
So being hearing the news that we heard this weekend, and genetics turning it on by 21 to 30 or 20 to 31% is huge. That's what we like to hear as percentages as athletes. But now if you just take that bottle and turn it around, and it's got affects immune system,
We have a new
inflammation, cardio, digestive, hormones, and keep forgetting the last one.
Help them out.
Yeah. If you take that and turn it around and say, as an athlete, would one of these benefit you at 20 to 31%? That's going to be huge now with talking with athletes, because athletes, I will tell you, are very hard and skeptical about taking anything. I can tell you they'll contest to that. So just utilize that and don't try to change their, as Tyler says, their eye color. Show them the bottle, increase by 20 to 30% of genetics in these areas, and athletes will start taking it. I guarantee it.
Yeah, for sure. Can one of you chime in about how inflammation can affect you on a day-to-day basis? You've been nominated.
I guess I've been nominated. So essentially for us, when we're working out like 6 hours a day, you're super, super broken down, and your immune system is, I don't want to say weak, but it's at risk of being compromised. And so to know that there's something out there that is healthy and that is natural and that can help bring that back up another 20 or 30%, to me it's a no-brainer. And especially, like I said, 6 hours a day, and a lot of times that's like 6 days a week, so it's just, it's over and over and over. So I mean, one small slip, someone sneezes on me, and I'm like, oh God. But it's just, we take it super, super seriously, and honestly, I think other athletes, even athletes that aren't world championship caliber, but people who are just looking to get better, if they see something that is proven to work, and they see athletes like these people here that trust something and that use something, they're probably going to be a lot more prone to, giving it a shot. What do you have to lose? It's my opinion.
Especially like when Bria said, it has 2 ingredients, and there's even the tamper-proof pouches.
Yeah, I can vouch for how much we're drug tested. Not that long ago, I had a dog give birth, and one of my puppies needed surgery, so I go to the vet to have this little puppy's surgery, and I get a phone call from my coach, and he's like, hey, where are you? I'm like, I'm at the vet. And he's like, well, you have a drug tester here. That's how frequent it happens. You never know when it's going to happen, and you don't want to have to worry about what I've been taking, what I have to declare. With the Asea, it's right there. It's not even a thought. It's not even in my head. So it's comfort, honestly.
Awesome, thank you for that. And let's go ahead and talk a little bit about diet and supplements. I know you guys get asked about that all the time. Let's start with Cody and just go down the line. What's your typical diet in just a normal training day?
So for me, I have I would say 4 square meals a day. So 2 breakfasts, a lunch, and a dinner. I see my wife over there is kind of smirking at me. I eat throughout the day, okay? I'm constantly eating. Make no mistake. I mean, I'm kind of a freak with my diet. I take that very, very, very seriously. I know paleo is really big right now, and I don't completely agree with it, but I would say that I'm borderline paleo. So essentially what that is just anything that's natural that a caveman used to eat is what I eat. So lots and lots of fruits and vegetables. Honestly, I have a mixed green salad every meal. And I'm not even kidding. My wife will vouch for that. I'm just a big bowl of vegetables and spinach and kale and stuff. And I take it pretty seriously. And because I'm eating all the time, because we're constantly eating, that's why I take the Asea right when I wake up and right when I go to bed, because I think that's when my stomach is at its most empty. So it's just a part of a healthy lifestyle. I'll stop rambling. You're up.
I can attest, because when he came yesterday in the backstage, first thing he did is went for the food to start. Like that, another summer. What was the question? Oh yeah, supplements, that's right.
Yeah, supplements.
Supplements. So I personally take no other supplements but Asea. That's just me. I've never taken supplements, but I do eat. I try to eat correctly. Sometimes I don't. But it's 40% or 60% carbohydrates, 40% protein, and then I throw in my simple fats. And then I do like to eat the 3 meals a day and then snack. So I'm eating 6 meals a day, not as much as this guy. But anyway. But during Ironman competition, I'll burn almost 10,000 calories. So I need to consume about 8 to 8,500 calories during a race.
During a race?
During the race.
How does one consume 8,500 calories during a race with no breaks?
You have an IV that's...
Gels, right?
Yeah, it is. I use gels, applesauce. I like taking applesauce. I personally can't digest my food at a high rate, And that's another thing, is that if my heart rate goes high, then that absorption into my digestive system is not good. That's why Asea is better. It helps. That's why I can race better now with the nutrition. So I do take gels. I take gels and applesauce, fine foods, and a lot of drinks. When people say, well, you're taking like a hammer gel drink or a sports drink, I do that, but that's just during competition. But that's not a supplement. That's just nutrition that's going into my system so that I can have both to compete at that level.
Supplements, I don't take any, well, basically Asea, which I guess is a supplement. And my diet is just pretty healthy foods, basic. I don't eat anything special. But Lowry had asked, what do you eat during an Ironman? Because I've got to eat during the day. And I also use, there's gel blocks. They're solid. They're like gummies almost, but they're made for endurance. And there's like 25 calories each. And you can't like eat a sandwich during this because I don't have time. And it's hard to eat a sandwich when you're riding a bike 20 miles an hour. It just doesn't work. But I will put one of those gels in my mouth and finish it off as I'm riding or running. Not when I'm swimming, though. I don't eat when I swim. And then as soon as that gel is done, it's only 25 calories, but I'm pretty much putting those gel blocks into my mouth the whole time that I'm swimming. And so when I'm done, I'm hungry, really hungry.
See, I like to think that me and Dexter, our bodies are like Ferraris, okay? If we want it to go fast, we have to fuel it right. Mostly Dexter. But it just goes forever. So I mean, throughout my entire athletic career, I've tried different like whey proteins and stuff, but I kind of have a sensitive stomach, and that's another reason why I like Asea is it, you know, I can drink it and not have a stomach ache because it only has 2 ingredients. And I just happen to not be allergic to chlorinated water. Lucky for my sport as well. But I mean, I basically just eat a lot of produce and protein. Lots of vegetables, fruits, protein. I will never give up ice cream. I love it. Yes, thank you. I do have a sweet tooth. During competition, I stay away from it for sure, but I do have what I like to call sugar Saturdays. So I have sugar on Saturdays.
It's okay to have a cheat day.
Yes.
You deserve it.
Yeah, well, yesterday was kind of like a Saturday. We did goat yoga, where we did yoga and had goats climb on us. It was rather fun. And this beautiful woman, I mean, she was beautiful. She brought us macarons. You know, this beautiful, sweet little Italian and French cookies. And we bought some. You know, we helped her out, and we also helped ourselves to the samples. A lot of samples. You know, so maybe Saturday I should back off because Sugar Saturday was yesterday.
Mine's pretty similar to, I mean, everyone else's, eating a whole food diet. I stay away from a lot of processed foods and sugars. My stomach as well is extremely sensitive, and I actually have a hard time when I'm racing and racing at a very high competitive level, and your heart rate goes up. Like Sean said, you can't actually digest as well, so I have to be picky about what type of foods I can use that will either kind of make or break my day. A lot of athletes suffer with GI issues because they're putting foods in that aren't working for their body. And so I've struggled with that a long time ago and have slowly figured out what works best for me, and staying away from some of the too much of the gels actually don't work well for me. So I actually switch over to a lot of kind of like carbohydrate powdered based nutrition that I can actually drink, and my body will absorb it faster than it's sitting in my stomach. So that seems to be what works really well for me, like carbohydrate powders.
Yeah, and let's wrap up with you guys, and if you just want to combine your answers.
Yeah, since we live together.
Live and work together.
Cody and I both wake up and immediately drink a huge glass of water. Or he actually does too. He's better than I am. But that is something we started doing about a year ago, and I definitely feel better. Like before you were allowed to get your coffee, you have to drink a huge glass of water, and we force it on our children. It's kind of funny. And then our preference right now, we do switch around a bit, but is more of a vegetarian, or in my case, a pescatarian-based diet. It just seems to be more palatable for us. So a lot of vegetables. So meals might look like a stir fry with a lot of vegetables, tofu, tempeh, or some type of vegetable soup. I love whole grains like barley, quinoa, oatmeal in the morning. I make a good homemade granola, a fruit smoothie every morning, and I love buttered toast in the morning.
Vegetarian, not vegan.
Oh, yeah, not vegan.
All right, thank you so much for joining us.